By default, ExtendAzon is going to try to find all of the Amazon affiliate links that are on your website and convert them into shopping cart links. However, there are a couple of settings available to you that can modify that default behavior. To explain a practical situation where you might want to do something like this, if you have a couple of different Amazon affiliate links that are all contained within one page and they're all pointing to the same product, you might want some of those links to function as a normal Amazon affiliate link so people can still go to the product page on Amazon if they want to. But then you can still give them a way to get the 90-day cookie to use the internal shopping cart that you have on your website. And a great example of this is to have something like an add to cart button. So right now, I do not have ExtendAzon enabled on this particular website. It's just default functionality where if I click on a link, it's going to take me to the product page on Amazon. If I click on the add to cart link, it's also going to take me to the product page on Amazon. So if I wanted to use ExtendAzon to change that, I have some settings at my disposal. If you go to the settings page in ExtendAzon, that would be ExtendAzon and settings over here in the left-hand sidebar, then go to the cart settings tab. All the way down at the bottom, the very last three settings that are found here. These three settings determine what links are going to get converted on your site and which ones will be ignored. Now, as I mentioned, by default, the plugin is going to try to convert every Amazon affiliate link that it can find, at least the Amazon affiliate links that point to a product page. There are other kinds of Amazon links, search links, links to review pages and things of that nature. Those links will actually get ignored by the plugin, but the links that point to the product page, those are going to get converted. So that is by default. If you want something different to happen than that, again, you use these bottom three settings. Now, first I'm going to start with that basic default functionality where all of the Amazon links are going to get converted. If there was one specific type of link on your website that you did not want to have converted into a shopping cart link, all you have to do is identify that link using one of these two settings that are at the bottom. Either do not convert IDs or do not convert classes. Now, IDs and classes here, if you're not familiar with HTML and CSS at all, an ID and a class are different ways that a part of a web page can be identified. An ID is a unique identifier, and a class does not have to be a unique identifier. These can be referenced in JavaScript. They can also be referenced in CSS to control the design of particular elements on your web page. So with that said, I want to flip over to the live page here so I can show you what I am talking about as far as the ID and the class goes. Now I'm in the Firefox browser. I'm going to right click on this add to cart button and I'm going to go down to inspect element. This is going to open a little window here where I'm going to have all this code And when I hover over certain parts of the code, it's going to show me the part of the web page that that is in reference to. So you can see here, this is the code that makes up the Add to Cart button, and a little higher up I have the code that makes up the image. So what I want to look for is the code that starts with the less than symbol and then the letter A. This is going to be the beginning of a link. You can see this right here, and you can also see it 2 lines further up right here. When I hover over this one, it highlights the Add to Cart button. When I hover over the top one, it highlights the image. So this is the link for the Add to Cart button, and this is the link for the image. Now within that tag, you can find the ID and the class of that particular link. Now, not all links will contain these elements, but if they are identified using these elements, this is where you're going to find them. So when I hover over the Add to Cart button, I look at the code here for this particular link. I'm going to scan starting with this less than symbol all the way until I get to a greater than symbol. So right in the beginning here, I can see the word class. Everything that's located within these quote marks is a class for this particular element. Scanning a little further, I see href, that's the destination of the link. I see other attributes for this particular link, target, rel, and style, and then finally I get to a greater than symbol. So in that link, I did not find the ID element or the ID attribute. So like I said before, some of the links will have an ID, some of them will have a class, some may have both, and some may have neither. You're looking for these things though as a way to identify the links. So I have a link here for the button, I have a link for the image. I have classes for both of these. If I look at the class for the image, it says ASG underscore candy underscore link. If I look at the class for the Add to Cart button, it says ASG candy underscore button. And it also says ASG candy link with a space in between. When you see a space in between when you're dealing with a class, that actually means that it has 2 classes. These are separate when they're separated by a space there. So this one and this one have a class that is the same, ASG candy link. This one though has a class that is different, ASG candy button. So with that said, I can use this class information. I'm going to copy one of these phrases here from the class of a link. So I'm going to copy the ASG candy button class from this Add to Cart button right here. All I have to do now is take that class and put it into this Do Not Convert Classes box. If there's already something there, you have to separate it with a comma. So you can see I had ExtendAzon exclude and I put a comma there and then I added a new class on. So you can actually continue adding more and more classes, as many as you want to have in there that get excluded, and ExtendAzon will automatically exclude it. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and enable my plugin now, get the shopping cart running, and I'm going to be using this ASG candy button class as an identifier. With those settings updated, I can now refresh my page. With the page refreshed now, if I hover over my image link, if you see in the bottom corner of my screen, it's actually an Add to Cart link now. The Add to Cart button is actually still an Amazon affiliate link. What that means is that this Add to Cart link has been ignored by ExtendAzon, but this image link has not been ignored by ExtendAzon. When I click on that, it goes and it adds that product to my shopping cart. I already had some other stuff in my shopping cart, and that's why you see these other things here. So with that said, I can selectively pick different links throughout my website that will be identified and excluded from being converted into a shopping cart link. However, you may have picked up when I was doing this that the Add to Cart button should be the one adding the product to the ExtendAzon shopping cart, and everything else should essentially get ignored. But the opposite of that is really happening right now, because I have excluded the class for the Add to Cart button. I didn't exclude a class for the image. There was actually not a way to identify this image by itself. If I identified this image by its class, the class that the image was using was also used by the button. So if I had used that, it would ignore both of them, and neither of them would get converted into a shopping cart link. So to correct this issue, you use this other option here, reverse link exclusion rules. It basically makes the opposite happen. So if I save my changes after enabling that particular setting, I'm going to have the same thing happening that I had before, but now it's going to be backwards. Initially, the plugin will ignore all of the links, all of the Amazon affiliate links on the website, except for the ones that are identified using one of these two settings. So now, with this enabled, these settings, instead of being do not convert settings, these are really settings that are convert only these things. So now, only these links with these classes are going to get converted. Now, I'm not using the ID one up here, but you can use the ID also. So refreshing my page with that flip-flopped, now my image goes to the Amazon product page. And now my Add to Cart button goes to my shopping cart like I wanted it to actually do. So using these three settings, you can control what is actually going to get converted on your website and what will get ignored. Now, just to give you an example here of how this other setting works that I did not demonstrate, I want to show you the ID setting and how that actually works, since I only showed you the class settings so far. Since the plugin that I'm using does not actually have a link that has the ID attribute on it, I'm going to go ahead and create my own. So I'm in a WordPress post or a page, it doesn't matter which. The important thing is that you're under this text tab. That way you can actually see the coding of a link. So I'm going to create an Amazon affiliate link here. Really basic link. This has nothing but a little bit of text for someone to click on, the URL that contains my affiliate link that has my affiliate ID and the ASIN in it. So this is the basic essentials of creating an Amazon affiliate link. I can identify those with the ID tag. So I could call this, I'll call this Ryan's link for the ID. I could also, though, identify it with a class. I'll call this Ryan's class. So as you can see, all I did was expand my link by adding ID equals to, and then putting my ID in the middle of these quote marks. And then the same thing with class. Class is equals to, and then I have my class in quote marks. Each little attribute gets separated by a space. So this gives me a basic link that is now identified by both an ID and a class. So I'll just go ahead and publish this page real quick so I can go and take a look at this link. Now you can see right here in the middle of my page, this is the link that I had set up, and currently this link is just going to the Amazon website. This is just a standard affiliate link. It's actually being ignored by the ExtendAzon plugin right now. Now the reason why that link is getting ignored is because of the settings that I was just messing with not long ago. I have reversed the link exclusion rules. So now only the links that I am identifying will actually get converted. Since the ID and the class for this link that I created right here, Ryan's link and Ryan's class, since these are not identified over here, then that link is getting ignored. But all I would have to do is add in the ID, Ryan's link, and save it, and then that link is going to start getting converted. I could also add in Ryan's class for the classes to be able to identify it. You don't need both of them though, either one of these to be able to identify that link. The ID though is a unique identifier. The class is not. So I could have another link on the same page that had the exact same class, but when it came to the ID, I would actually want to have the ID different, even if it's just having an extra number on it or something like that. I can't have the same ID on the same page, but I can have the same class. So the class is really the easiest one to use if you're like creating your own links that you're going to be adding to your site. Maybe you're creating your own add to cart button and you only want those to get converted into these shopping cart links. You create this standard link, you assign a class to it, and you have that same class on that link throughout every page of your entire website. So that way you would only have to have that one class that was actually going to be referenced. The only thing here might be nothing but Ryan's class. All the other links on the site would get ignored except for Ryan's class, and those would get converted into shopping cart links. If I were to change the reverse link exclusion rule setting back to disabled though, then all of the links on the site would get converted into shopping cart links, except for the ones that I was identifying down here. So hopefully I have been able to make this system clear. It in some cases may not even be something that you need to bother with. If you want all of your links converted into shopping cart links, you can just use the plugin straight out of the box. But if you want to get a little more creative with the usage of this plugin, if you want to have a mixture of product links and shopping cart links, then hopefully this training helped you to make a little bit of sense out of this system and how it works, and also how you can modify it using these 3 settings so you can get the exact links that you want to actually work with this shopping cart system. Now I also have recommendations that go along with using the ExtendAzon shopping cart in terms of, should you let ExtendAzon convert all of your links, or should you take the time to do customizations, things that I've been kind of demonstrating in this particular lesson. All of those recommendations I actually have in a separate tutorial video for you, but I at least wanted to mention that video here because that directly applies with the knowledge that I taught in this particular class, because these 3 settings are used to help achieve a lot of the things that I recommend for this particular plugin. So I do highly recommend taking a look at that video.